Dr. Jack Billion.
Well, I too would like to thank first of all of you for coming and attending this evening, also the Challenger and the Chamber for sponsoring this. I think this is one of the ways we exchange ideas. This is one of the ways we become informed. So good evening. My name is Jack Billion. I'm a native of South Dakota. I'm a husband, a father. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a physician. And I'm a former legislator who loves South Dakota. And one of the reasons I'm running is because of that love of South Dakota and my feeling that there needs to be some things done that will occasion changes in the state government and the state of South Dakota. This year is a contrast. You have a contrast in candidates for governor. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that contrast that you'll be able to look at. One, we have an incumbent who I think really has a slogan. And then we have someone that runs it, myself, and I'd like to talk about reality. When we talk about slogans, we have a slogan, we're working together, that times are good, that everything's going well, that we have great jobs. When you really look at it, we have ballot issues that are pitting family against family. We have low wages in this state. We have teachers that are paid 51st in the nation. We have young people leaving the state of South Dakota. We have the highest percentage of working members of families in the nation. And yet we say we've got great jobs, and we say we've got more benefits. And yet 52% of employers can provide health insurance, the other 48% don't. And we have 90,000 people uninsured in the state of South Dakota, and 17,000 of them are children. And I think this is wrong. I think despite the fact that we have slogans that say great jobs, we're working together and everything else, I think we have to look at some of the realities that we face as citizens of South Dakota every day. Another thing we have to look at is opportunity for our young people. Do our young people stay in South Dakota? Can they complete a college education and find jobs in South Dakota? And sadly, the answer is no. Sadly, the answer is they're hired away from South Dakota to go to Minnesota or Wyoming or Nebraska or Iowa, and we lose those young people. And many times we lose them for the rest of their life. And I think we need to change that. I think we need to look at some programs that will bring opportunity for young people in South Dakota, opportunity to bring families back to South Dakota, opportunity to bring young children back to South Dakota, which replenish your schools and replenish your small communities and really bring prosperity to us all. So those are some of the reasons that I'm running. We say around here that, well, our schools are okay. Our schools are doing a good job. Our schools are well funded. When you look at the reality of things, our schools have been underfunded for 10 years. We have increased them at 2.5% for 10 years. Our teachers are paid the lowest in the nation. We have opt-outs. And some people say, well, if you have a slogan that opt-outs are made so you can enhance programs. Opt-outs, we all know, are made so schools can survive, so that schools can perhaps continue and not cut programs quite so severely. And I think that's wrong. And remember, when you have to opt out in a school district, then you raise your own property taxes. And I don't think that's right either. So when we look at those things, and we look at education, and we look at funding, and we recognize the fact that we fund our schools at $500 to $1,200 less per student than all of the surrounding states, I think that we need to make some changes in education. And I don't think those changes in education have been made in Pierre by this legislature or by this government. So we look at the economy, we look at good jobs, we look at jobs where young people can find a place in South Dakota, we look at education, and lastly I'd like to talk a little bit about health care. Health care is no longer a health care problem. It's a national economic problem, and it's nearly a disaster. And we have had no major legislation in health care in the last 4 years. So if you like things to stay the way they are, then I don't think you should enjoy and join with my vision. But I think that if you look at reality, I think we have to go ahead and we have to address those priority issues. Now, what have we addressed in Pierre in the last few years? We've addressed things like school computers. We talked about abstinence. We talked about sex education. We banned stem cell research in the state of South Dakota. We enacted an abortion ban that is pit family against family. We've gone ahead and we look at issues for the governor's plane, and the governor's club, and the governor's hunt. We have one-party government. We have closed meetings in many cases. We have some things we need to change. We need an open government that deals with the priorities for the people of South Dakota. Open government that sits down and says, hey, we need to have good jobs, solid wages, a small business climate that favors the entrepreneur. We need to have good, solid schools from preschool all the way up to colleges and universities. We need to have a healthcare system that actually works. And that's what I'm trying to offer you. I'm trying to talk about listening. I'm trying to talk about leadership. I'm trying to talk about involvement of people in an open government situation. And I think if we do it all together, we can really be successful. That's the secret of South Dakota. Most of our families came out here, and they recognized that we had to work together, we had to come out here, we had to join, we had to have a dream and a vision, and then we could be successful. And so, with those things in mind, I'm asking for your vote on November 7th. Thank you very much.